News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
And I'm Allan Gilbreth from someplace new today. I'm from unscathed.com.
Oh, yeah. Put a pin in that. We're going to announce that.
And I'm Maximilian, and I have 2 days to wish. First off, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to everybody's favorite Mads Mikkelsen.
And I like him.
I'd like to also wish you all a very happy Aura Awareness Day.
Ooh. Oh, now that's interesting because, as we've said, Allan, and this is a good cosmic homeowner subject, every home has an aura. And it could be because you're a slob and it's a bad aura, or maybe you just have good sense and it's kind of a nice aura. It's a pleasant aura for everybody. So.
And it's a medical fact that human beings glow.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like that, man. So National Aura Day, or is that
Aura Awareness Day.
Aura
Be
awareness.
aware that there is aura. And not only that, but I like the fact that the word actually means wind, breeze, or breath.
Okay, cool. All right, I like that one, and I bet you my wife celebrates. She's one of these yoga hippies. She's into all that stuff. So, okay. I was amazed you didn't lean into National Cranberry Relish Day.
I didn't feel like it.
Okay.
That has an unpleasant aura.
I have no opinion on that, Allan, because I like cranberry juice, but I can't. I wouldn't.
Well, you're getting a jar of the relish today, so get over it.
All right. Well, Allan, before we even let's make this announcement. Come on, man. This is cool because for years we've been announcing you as Allan Gilbreth with darkoakmedia.com, which is still part of your empire.
It is.
There's a new chapter here.
Yeah, there's a new player in town because, as everybody knows, I'm a little food oriented. I'm kind of like your pet. Man. I'm food directed. However, I have launched my own brand of spices, rubs, blends, and seasonings. So you can pop over to allansspices.com, ALLAN. Yes, I have the Scottish spelling of the name.
Yeah.
And or they can sneak down to the Painted Tree and go to booth B20.
Yeah, if you can't wait. Just get it today.
Absolutely.
Go in there.
Right there.
Well, we didn't say this because a couple weeks ago was the 15th annual Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, and you previewed Allan's Spices and Rubs.
I previewed nine SKUs, yeah.
And there's nothing left. Like your booth pretty much
Y'all
got
ate
overrun.
Everything down to the tablecloth.
You were the best-selling vendor in the whole convention. People were walking away with these things.
They were eating your spices like pixie sticks.
That was the part that scared me. People were just walking around with a bottle of spice, licking their finger, putting it in, and licking their finger, putting it in.
That sounds real sanitary. Okay.
All right, that was personal. I mean, they were double dipping themselves.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, wow, you guys really like this stuff. Yeah.
So it's here, man. You find, and congratulations, man. Oof. That's cool. We want to sell a lot of spice and a lot of rubs. I thought you were selling barbecue sauce, too.
That'll be available next week by Wednesday. I got about 20. I got 9 SKUs up now. I'll have 20 by Wednesday. We'll probably have about 40 somewhere around the beginning of December.
And the website's easy, Allan's Spices, Allan's plural, spices.com. So, and then I would assume... this isn't the first store you're going to be in. I assume other store owners are going to want your stuff.
I'm just trying to survive getting this one open.
Yeah, and isn't it made locally? I thought.
Yes, of my lab and packaging facility is actually used to be part of Sharing Plow.
There you go. See, it's homemade.
Homegrown, folks. Homegrown.
It's Memphis made, baby. So, all right, well, this is exciting. Well, I'm glad we can finally talk about it because I've known about this, but I've been having to keep my mouth shut, which is never easy for me.
It's been killing you for a month, hasn't it?
But, yeah, folks, check it out, allansspices.com, and you're definitely going to be hearing about that a lot. So, all right, well, Allan, today, we've got a long overdue visit from our friends over at Groundworks. Kurt Weir is coming in. He's back in the house. So, folks, if you've got any questions about the foundation of your home or if you've had any, issues, this is the day to call. Call in at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline, 901-683-0989. He's going to be in the second hour of the program. So, well, Allan, our weeks could not have been more different. Your description of Allan's week in review says rampant and utter positive successes.
Yes.
My week was of pain, regret, and uncomfortable symptoms that led me to spend all of Thursday at the doctor's office.
So we switched weeks.
Yeah. But I'm going to call this battle wounds. So in my segment today, what I have to offer is pain and suffering. I'm calling this is called Poison Ivy, the Evil Dead. Apparently, even after this stuff's dead, it's still causing trouble.
It's like a dead snake. It can still bite you.
Oh, my gosh. What a pain this was. And I would even post pictures of what's going on my arms, but I don't want to ruin anybody's breakfast. You see what I'm bandaged up. I've got whatever. So, but it is a good opportunity to learn.
You do look like you escaped a prison camp.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, maybe I'll post a picture later, but it's also a good opportunity to talk about this plant because this plant is actually very interesting, as evil as it is. So, but anyway, and we've got. Well, I'm not going to over tease because today's going to be one of those organic shows, and like I said, with our buddy, there's going to be a lot of focus on the on the foundation of your home. That's going to be in there. So, and also, I should say one more thing. Speaking of foundations and crawl spaces, this might be a good thing to bring Kurt into. We never got to my story last week, I don't think, of my wife's friend that was menaced by her 2 cats, which led to a $2,300 cleanup repair. Cleanup bill.
We're going to get Kurt in on that.
And
one.
because that involved the foundation of her home, so we'll bring him in and get his opinion on that. So. But before we get to any of these other things, let's this is once again Allan must-have items. Oh shoot, I haven't posted. I'll post it at the commercial. So but I guess I've got a handful of things, Allan, so I guess you can tell them what we're holding.
You have basically sharp, pointy objects over there. You have got scrapers and cutters.
I just see Attack on Titan.
Bingo. Amen.
What you have, though, is you have these snap-off blades.
Well, I got 2 razors because what I'm calling this is the razor of your choice with, and it's part 2 of that is plenty of replacement blades because I'm almost wasteful with how much I replace my blades because, as we've said, a dull blade is a dangerous
very
blade.
dangerous.
And it's an annoying blade. Who wants a dull blade? But I have a push razor, which is, and I prefer the metal one. You know, they have like the safety plasticky coated one that's like 3/4
that you're going to kill yourself with,
and you can't get any angles with it. I like this cheaper version. It's the metal one. You can hear it kind of clicking and everything, folks. But Allan, what I have to admit, I'm trolling you a little bit because I know you have no problem with the push razor, but you and I butt heads when it comes to the here. Let me try to do this one on the air. This is the retractable breakaway blade. I love these things.
Not a fan of those things. Not a fan. All right, I do love the scrape razor, the razor blade that goes in your box cutter or goes in your scraper, because nothing works better cleaning glass than a good razor blade.
Yep.
And I actually upset people 2 or 3 weeks ago working on a job site because I didn't bother to tape the windows.
Oh, okay.
Because
I know
there's
2 approaches.
It would take like hours to get all this done. I'm like, paint. Get it done. Paint it. Get this done. Let's move on.
And they're like,
oh, but you're getting it on the glass. I'm like, yes, I have a razor blade.
Don't cry me a river.
Watch this. 3 seconds. Swipe, 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 swipe. And they're looking at me like magic tricks. I'm going, really? Y'all need to learn. I am, however, the only reason, I preface this, the only reason I'm not a fan of the breakaway blade is it's not the blade.
Yeah.
It's the person. Do not break it and drop it, because it's going to wind up in my shoe.
Yeah. Well,
and then I'm going to scar up the floor,
They have this tendency to land on their edge, especially if it's near a carpet or if it's on the ground or something, and then it steps on it. And of course, now Allan, I raised 4 kids who played with Legos, so I'm very conscious about not dropping these things on the ground, but because then I'll step on them too.
You've been ninja cow-tripped in the middle of the night.
But I see the reason I love the breakaway blade is this blade, as you can hear, folks. If you know what it looks like, it's like a handheld razor. It's because box cutters, it's the same size as a box cutter.
Yes.
But if you need a quarter of an inch, or if you need like a full 3 inches of cutting or something, you've got either option. And the reason, because I've just found box cutters never really meet my needs when it comes to this. And I've cut wood with this. You can cut everything. And what I like is if just the tip of the blade gets dull, you just snap it off, and then you got a brand new, whatever. And as Max indicated, it looks just like the swords from the scout troop on Attack on Titan, right, Max? So that's what I like. Survey Corps. So, and that's a great show if you like anime violence. It's really good. But switching the blades out is a big deal, because there's nothing more annoying than, especially with this push razor, when you're starting to clean the glass.
They are a pain.
You'll probably burn, if you're doing like a French door or something, you're probably going to burn through a couple, two or three of the blades. But so what? They're cheap. They're, whatever. And metal, I don't feel as bad about using up metal. I feel like metal came from the ground. If it goes in the ground, I'm okay with it. But
unless you're digging it out of your shoe.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see, Allan. I feel like, if you don't mind, when we come back, I'd like to share my tale of woe.
Let's do it.
In battle wounds, and also we're going to learn a little bit about something about what an interesting plant poison ivy is.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I got them a toaster. They called off the wedding and gave the toaster back to me. I tried to return the toaster to the store, and they said they no longer sold that kind of toaster. So now my house has got 2 toasters.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Oh, brother. Allan's got 8 toasters, criming a river. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, that's right. Allan has launched his spices and rubs and everything. And we're not going to plug it every break, but it's a big deal, man. And congratulations.
It's a
good
lot of
stuff.
work.
It's selling hot. I mean, these are hot.
Yeah,
everybody's buying this
I'm
stuff.
probably going to.
You're going to run
this
out
first
again
round
after
is
this.
probably going to run out pretty fast.
Yeah. So. But anyway, and later in the show, we've got our friend Kurt Weir from Groundworks coming in, second half of the show. And so today is a great day if you've got any concerns about the foundation of your home and about your crawl space, basement, or slab. It's this is the day to get in touch. So, and also it's Aura Awareness Day, and I wish, I hope everybody out there is paying attention to that. So, I'm not one of these hippie guys, but I do believe we all radiate a certain kind of aura.
Well, no, actually, medically, of a side effect of conducting electricity is photons. That is how LEDs work. Those are semiconductors. When you move power through them. So your LED, your light-emitting diode, is actually a little semiconductor. We're running power through it, and the side effect is light.
Well, I believe it, man.
Actually, human beings, we actually did a story on this on Nerding at 9 about 2 months ago. Human beings that are breathing and alive, actually, because we're moving electrical currents through our bodies, have a very tiny invisible to the human eye, but we actually do glow.
No, I don't doubt it at all, man.
It kind of makes me think that maybe the northern lights are sort of like the aura of the earth.
Oh, now that's interesting. So
I know you probably have a counterpoint to that, Allan.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like Earth didn't duck. The northern lights is more like a plasma snowball.
There you go.
Radiating across the
Yeah.
However, even here in the Mid-South, as far from the northern lights as we normally are, last week we had northern lights.
Yeah.
You walked outside and people were going,
here in Tennessee.
Yeah, we're not close to Canada. We're a few miles down, a little south from there. And
is it because we're in the dirty part of the galaxy?
No, it was having more to do with the cycles of the sun. We're getting into a more active cycle.
Yeah, the sun's having some fun right now.
It is just a rolling and a boiling and a carrying on right now. So we're probably going to have a few more of these over the winter.
Okay, cool. Well, but Aura Awareness Day, I also think is important for homeowners, because the way you present your home and the way you light your home and the way you decorate and whatever, it all says something about you. And you can overdo it too, like a spotless, perfect home that's like a museum. I mean, we all watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We know how that turns out. So you want to go, warm and inviting, but not don't be a slob and have your stuff laying all over the house too. So anyway, Aura Awareness Day. But Max, I don't know. Do you have anything for this? Oh, okay. That's what we're calling. Okay. Well, we're going to call this battle wounds, Allan. So my week, like I said, could not have been more. Well, okay, let's just put it this way. It started off great. Have you been working outside this week?
Yeah.
Or last?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last 2 weeks have been absolutely amazing.
This is
gorgeous.
like the weather. This is where I feel sorry for people that have to work inside. I've been outside the whole time. And so I guess this would be Tuesday. I had I'm back in Midtown. I'm one of my favorite customers, Becky. I'll just give her a shout out. But she's got lots of projects that I'm doing. I have a kind of a construction project that I'm doing, but she had some overgrowth of like small trees. We're not talking massive, and some bushes in the way, and a few vines. Make note of that. Allan. And before I could do any of the building, I had to get those things out of the way. So it was one of the few days. I mean, the weather was absolutely perfect. I had shorts and a T-shirt. I was comfortable. It wasn't too hot. I was listening to music, and all I was doing is I brought my wife's Sawzall with the 12-inch pruning blade, fully charged battery. So you were ready. I was rocking there, and it was one of those nice things because all of this work, it was going to be a full day of work that didn't involve any measuring, no math, nothing. It was just demolition and chopping things up and enjoying nature. So that's what I was doing.
So you and I were doing the exact same thing in two different places on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We were both clearing land.
Yeah, it was great. I was loving it, and I felt great. And so I was there was one area though and I was being very careful because I'm like, I'm very allergic to poison ivy. I know that.
Yes, you are.
And so I'm not. I had gloves on. I had whatever. And so, but there was this one vine that looked like it was just some dead, crumbled up whatever or something. I didn't know what it was, and I foolishly grabbed it and I'm pulling it off. There was a fence area I had to get, and Allan, that night, man. About in the middle of the night, I started feeling that uncomfortable. I know the symptoms, but this is one of the worst. Out by the next day, my arms looked like Killer Crocs, from Batman. And you see what I've got on now. It went all the way up my arms, and I finally went to the doctor on Thursday because it's getting worse, and it started spreading to my lips. Luckily, it never materialized there, but I felt it. So anyway, I'm like, how did I get this? I didn't. As far as I know, I didn't touch any green 3-leaf plants or any of that.
No, you didn't.
But I did touch one thing, that dried up old vine. And I found out that thing...
Full of concentrated urushiol oil.
Gosh. So I'm calling this the Evil Dead plant.
It is.
Even after it's dead, it's still causing
It's going to
problems.
bite you. Yeah.
So anyway, but so that's something to know, I guess. But it was crushing her fence. It was like it was insidious.
Yes.
I mean, this was I don't know, there was a 3-inch diameter root just growing through this fence. I had to get rid of it, but anyway.
So you were probably dealing with poison oak as opposed to poison ivy.
Is that on a vine?
Oh, yeah.
This feels a lot more aggressive, whatever. I mean, it's bad. I'm going to have scars from this probably.
Well, I actually got a bad case of the urushiol dermatitis, which is what you are suffering from.
Yeah.
I got a bad case of that sitting under a tree once upon a time.
Just minding your own business.
Minding my own business in the spring, and it was because the tree and all of the vines in the tree were, misting tiny little droplets of sap and what other biological processes they had.
Yeah.
So basically, sitting underneath this tree was the fog of skin death. It was just,
That's a good name for a band.
Any place that it wasn't horror, it wasn't a contact like you have, but you got dusted in this stuff, and of course, the next day, you're all itchy and scratchy, and then the dermatitis begins.
Yeah.
And,
it's funny. It's just it's amazing what it does to you, though. I mean, it's like I got these boils and stuff, but I mean, I probably look worse than I feel. Now that I got the medicine, I'm feeling better. I went and got I guess it's a steroid. So
let's get your skin. And just to make you feel better, you actually know the Latin name for that stuff?
What? The
Toxitendron.
Is that the stuff that gets you?
Yeah. The what gets you is the chemical in it, which is the urushiol oil.
Well, it's interesting to me that a plant, because I'm thinking, there's got to be a reason for this. So does poison ivy I'm sure it serves a purpose in nature, but gosh, who would mess with poison ivy? Like, what other plants want to tangle with it? It can choke you. It can poison you. And,
that's only because that's the American version.
Yeah.
Do you know who else is in the family?
Who is it?
Mangoes.
So mango is part of poison ivy.
It's
family.
a part of the archaea. Let me see if I can say it correctly. The Anacardidaceae family.
Wow.
It is part of the same family. So it's there to protect the fruit and the berries. Mangoes, pistachios, and you ready for the big one?
Yeah.
Cashews.
Really? So
are all members of the same family.
So you have this delicious food, but at the price of
it's gonna cost you.
So you got the face of the family, then you got the real people that get the job done, like the mafia.
Yeah,
they're the cleanup crew.
Wait, but so does that mean mango farmers and stuff? They have to be very careful how they
got to be
harvest?
careful.
I didn't know that.
That's like people that raise vanilla orchids.
Yeah,
you can become allergic to that too.
Okay. Well, there's a couple parting thoughts about this poison ivy plant, because it is actually very interesting as much as it's irritating me. But and we'll do that. But then when we also come back, we're going to find out what Allan did this week, which couldn't have been any more opposite.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
My son is several weeks old. He's quite familiar with the sound of power tools.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan's Spices at allanspices.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, yes, Allan is in the spice business. Spice, dry rubs, and these things. We're not kidding, folks. This is selling fast.
And we're not talking about the spice from Dune.
No, good spice.
Although the jokes have been coming fast and furious, I assure you.
Oh, yeah. All the geeks are probably getting in on that. Yeah, that's a good
Big
point.
time.
You're now a spice trader.
Oh, my gosh.
Right. Well, it's not really out of character with you, Allan, so, no offense. But, hey, if you're just tuning in, too, I just want to say we were having a little fun learning about poison ivy, because I either had poison ivy or poison oak.
It's the same.
It's pretty
poison.
bad, whatever it is.
It's the same poison.
My arms are wrapped in bandages. It looks bad. My arms look like I said, like killer Crocs right now. But what I was interested to learn is that you were telling us that other plants are in the same family that I would have, mangoes and pistachios and things. So they're creating this great food, but when you harvest it, you got to be careful.
Well, this is, these are how these plants protect themselves from insects or the birds or whatever until the fruit is ripe. And now we want you to eat it and take it away and go spread the seeds.
Pretty interesting.
So, but the thing to remember, every member of this family, whether it's a poison sumac, a poison ivy, poison oak, any of them, leaves of 3, leave them be. Don't even worry about trying to figure it out. If it's got 3 leaves, just leave it alone.
Well, we need a new saying for dried up vine. It's not divine or something. Because that's what I touched.
All right. Well, when you're clearing land, dude, the one thing you learn is you always wear sleeves.
Even
no matter
if
how
it's
much
hot
you're
out.
sweating, now, if you're pulling, especially vines, if you're pulling vines, you wear sleeves and gloves.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, a lot of times your sun protection gives you some minor protection against stuff getting on your face.
Right. Yeah.
So a little bit there, but the biggest things to remember is these things are a thick, almost oak-looking vine that got you.
Yeah.
And they get big old root balls, and they'll come up through the fence, and they'll crack and move a fence.
That's why I was trying to get rid of it.
Between them and now, see, I also hate Wisteria because it does the exact same thing.
Right.
But you've just got to be so careful. And the worst part is, of course, I usually work in. I've been working in rural areas a lot this year, and you got to remind people don't burn it.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to get that. You're going to get that mess inside you. You don't want to do that. But it is a rough plant. It's kind of hard to kill. Normally we don't support products, but I will say there are a couple of weed killers out there custom designed to get rid of your poison oak, poison ivy, and poison sumac. Just read the labels at your big box store.
Okay, cool. So, all right. Well, I'm. It's funny too, Alan, because my arms and stuff look terrible, but I actually feel a lot better now that I went to the doctor and got a steroid. But folks, you should know this since this is a live show. I'm just sitting here looking at my list here, Alan. It said there's like 2 pages of side effects that I guess they just try to cover themselves, but it says if you have bone or joint pain, feeling very weak or tired, change in eyesight, feeling confused, not being able to focus, or change in behavior, mood swings, memory problems, or a loss of or memory loss, or hallucinations, or hearing things that are not there, please stop using this medication. So I can't promise anything on today's show, Alan.
Sounds like my normal Monday morning.
So just be aware. That's what I'm contending with.
Well, if you are going to go clear land, let me throw in a couple of things.
Okay.
The minute you get done, go bathe.
Well, see, I did, but I took a hot shower, which is probably the dumbest thing I could have.
I was about to say a lukewarm soap and water, and if you think you've been exposed, hit your skin with some rubbing alcohol.
Oh, no, I didn't think of that.
And get the oils off of you. What you're trying to do is get that oil off. That's why I'm looking at you going, it ain't the last time you've gotten into a vine.
Yeah.
But now you know, and if you've been around one, if you just think you've been around one, these help. I'm not saying it's going to keep you from getting a reaction, but the sooner you can get, don't go sauna, opening up all the pores.
Well, that's what I did. Because I was like, because that night it cooled off. Yeah. And I'm like, it's nice. I'll take a nice warm shower. And
well, see, no, you should have lukewarm bathed immediately when you got in. And put those clothes straight into the washing machine.
I'm going to incinerate the clothes.
Put them straight in this, because that oil will still be on the clothes, because this is where people come back and tell me later, well, it's spreading.
Right.
Well, no, it's because you kept that T-shirt on for 8 extra hours. So whatever was on the shirt is now on your neck, or now you've touched your face.
And don't go using the towel that everybody else uses. Like, I've got a stack of paper towels in the bathroom now, so when I wash my hands and everything, I dry them and throw it out.
You got to be careful.
And I've been sitting on a towel on the couch and everything, so I don't,
It is an oil. It will transfer. It's a tough plant. That's all I got to say. Is this bad boy's been around a long time. It'll be here after we're gone.
Well, if anybody out there's got any interesting poison ivy battle tales, we'd love to hear from them. So, hey, before we change gears, though, Max, you said we got a couple texts, and they always go to the front of the what do our texters have to say?
Well, Denise is hopefully going to be a future happy customer, Alan.
Okay.
Said, congrats to Allan's on the Spice launch. Can't wait to try them.
They're good, Denise. Everybody, I'm not kidding, man. I saw it in person. People were buying. Because what was interesting, Alan, is you had a little tasting system. You had, what did you have, like a toothpick with some cheese samples?
Yeah, we just got the little, Colby cheddar blend, the little cheese cubes like you get at the grocery store, and a toothpick. And we just opened up several of the spices and put them in little bowls, and you could try them out, and people just went crazy for them.
So you put your money where your mouth is. I mean, literally, like, it wasn't just buy this and trust it. They tasted and said, "Oh, okay, I want this." So
yeah, there were people buying several at a time. I found that very funny.
Well, hey, man, that's great. So Denise, you're not going to be disappointed. You're gonna like go to allanspices.com. All right, what else, Max?
Second one, we actually have 3.
Oh, okay.
Norman Rockwell sent pictures of the northern lights from his property. Pretty good looking.
Norman Rockwell must live somewhere a little more remotely, because what my wife was trying to see him, and I think we had too much light pollution.
Now, you live right in the dead center. You're not going to see anything.
We're not going to see it.
But you're close to a very major retail segment.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
a lot of light. You're not going to see much. Out where I was, you could see a little bit, but a little further out. The further out you got, the better the sky lit up.
Well, thanks for sending that in, Norman Rockwell. Norman Rockwell's always out doing stuff. That's what I appreciate. He builds things.
He's a busy man.
He's enjoying the world. So, all right, what else, Max?
Finally, we have something from Agent 732, and it was pretty serendipitous because he texted right as I was mentioning the text line.
Yeah.
Agent 732 said, if you find yourself with an itchy reaction and don't have ointment, you can crush aspirin with a little water so it forms a paste, and you can put that paste over the itch.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're not going to get sued for malpractice by giving that advice. Now that's interesting. So
we're going to say use at your own risk.
Okay, yeah. I wonder if he has a recommended crushed aspirin paste.
Well, it has to be aspirin. It can't be something else.
What's happening there, Allan, medically? What's the aspirin doing?
Well, that is the old. If you want to get into the old school stuff, that is
acetaminophen.
This is actual aspirin, and this is what we used to call willow wine. So if you had a bad itch, way back in the day, they would take willow bark and strip it off the tree and wrap it around the bad itchy spot because it actually contains a lot of the active ingredients you would find in aspirin.
I heard about that. I heard about the idea of like a willow root tea for headaches.
That is where the idea for a lot of these old herbal remedies actually have footing in modern science.
Is this where what the Beverly Hillbillies would have used? You know,
like this is
I'm
a granny recipe. Yeah, this is.
Get me that aspirin over there.
Yeah, that's a granny thing. But this is all what we call folk medicine. Use at your own risk. We're not endorsing.
My own 2 cents because I sacrificed a few pairs of socks because if you have for my winter socks that you wear with boots, like the long ones, if you cut off the tip and if you cut off the other, it works great for if you have something on your wrist because I was trying to not horrify everybody coming in, but my wrists got it the worst, and so I put some gauze and I put these in it, and it's working great, man. I mean, I don't know. It's not the best to look at, but I don't care.
Well, you do look a little bit like a Dragon Ball Z character with your wrist, your wrist all nice and done up. So.
All right. Well, are we all caught up with the text, Max? Okay. Well, hey, before we talk about Allan's week, let's talk about our good buddy Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. One thing I have to say about him is I have to imagine he's not tangling with much poison ivy up on our roof,
One would hope.
Yeah. So, but Jay is all about the exterior protection of your home, from roofing to gutters to siding to windows, and all interior and exterior remodeling. Jay is, for one thing, we love the energy and enthusiasm that Jay brings to every job site. And don't discount that. That's a big deal when you have a contractor. You've been around contractors that don't have that energy, Allan, and it's like you can't wait for the project to be over, But Jay makes every project exciting. But we always lean heavily into his roofing expertise because, for one thing, Jay is a GAF Master Elite installer. He's always 5 stars with the Better Business Bureau, and he's one of the top-rated roofers in this entire region, and with good reason. For one thing, these GAF roofing systems are they are so well engineered, and they're of such quality that they offer a lifetime transferable warranty. Allan and I can attest. My utility bill in the summer has gone down because of my Big M roof. My roof runs cooler. It's going to last longer, and it keeps the water out. It's great. So, but also what sets Jay apart is the fact that he is a former insurance agent. Jay, if you have damage to your home that you're wondering, is this going to be covered by my homeowner's insurance? Jay should really be the first person you call. It makes a difference who you call first because Jay's going to come over. He's going to analyze the situation. And if there's a path forward, he will help you navigate that whole claims process. If you do it in reverse and you call your insurance agent first, you're not going to get the results you want. Trust me, folks. But we love Jay Hill. We love what he brings to the table, and he's been a great partner with the show. So when you call, you're going to talk to Jay directly. Give him a call at 901-484-5645 or go to bigmroofingandremodeling.com. All right, when we come back, we're going to find out what Allan did this week.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Yeah. Well, I haven't lost an arm yet, Allan. We'll see. The day's young. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices at allanspices.com. And I think people are already heading to the website, Allan.
Oh, yeah.
And our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, yeah, I've been whining all day about this outbreak of poison ivy that I've had. But and also, just as a little disclaimer, I read some of the side effects of the medication that I'm taking. So I promise nothing today. I could lose memory. I could have spasms. I could have whatever. So
I'm just trying to figure out how we'd know.
Yeah, so we'll just watch. We'll just see how the program unfolds. And coming in shortly after the break, we're going to have our buddy Kurt Weir from Groundworks coming in. So if you have any concerns or questions, or if you want to learn more about the services they provide, or if you have any problems with your foundation, this is the time to get in touch.
Oh, we'd love some good horror stories.
Yeah, horror stories are fun.
Oh yeah. You gotta give us some good stories.
I gotta ask Kurt if he's because also we never got to my wife's story about her friend with it involved a crawl space and cats and $2,300.
Ooh, I got some words about pets on a job site. I'm ready this week.
And I wonder if Kurt's ever tangled with the poison ivy or any of that stuff down there. So anyway, so we'll find out when he gets in. But before we do that, let's go, Max.
Oh, the humanity.
I think I needed that music. Allan, here's your description. It says rampant and utter positive successes. So it sounds like it was a pretty good week, man.
Well, really good weeks. It's kind of like that funny thing when somebody goes, wow, you're an overnight success after 20 years of backbreaking work.
Yeah, isn't that what Harold Ramis said? It takes 20 years to become an overnight success.
Absolutely.
Like there you go. Yeah.
So about 3 different projects, all, and you always get a feeling that they're all going to collide somewhere out in the future, no matter what stage they're at. You just got a feeling it's all going to happen at once. Well, happily, due to a lot of planning in the past, as we're wrapping these projects up, one of them was a final land clear, the last one of the season.
Yeah.
And because I had prepped everybody beforehand, it was like, a couple of weeks ago, we went around and got all the deadfall up. And then a week later, we went, and everybody's kind of whining, All right, well, it's now the final clear. And, now you just kind of ran around the edges with the hedge trimmer and you cleaned a few things up. And then you just hit up the lawnmowers.
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to be cutting the grass this season.
It's done.
Anymore. Yeah.
It's done.
Till
it's
spring.
Clean. All the extra leaves got ground up. And, just when we got finished, everybody looked at me and they're like, wow, this place looks really good. Really? You think so?
Why do your employees always doubt you? Like, every week I hear how they're like, they think you're nuts. They don't understand what you're doing. And then at the end, they're like, oh, he actually knew what he was doing. I've discovered
a lot of people don't live a step ahead. Most people live that step behind.
Yeah.
They're very reactive. They're not very, well, what's going to happen in 2 weeks if I do this? Yeah. And we talk about this with mulch all the time. We talk about this with how they lay stuff out. And I got some stuff for Kurt when he gets in here of where you just made a choice last year that you're really going to regret coming down the line. One of the number one things is don't plant that tree 6 feet from the house because it's cute and little.
Yeah, we're seeing that.
Big and ugly.
We've seen that all over my neighborhood. These trees are aging out and they're 10 feet from the house. And these things are huge, like somebody back in the 50s.
Oh, yeah. This was a great idea. It looked great 40 years ago. Now it looks like you've been eaten by the forest.
Right.
All right. Number 2, of course, I had to open a store this week.
Oh, so tell us about that.
The beautiful thing is we go rolling in, and I don't think these poor people were ready for like a construction crew. Because we go rolling.
It was that heavy duty, huh?
Well, no, we just go rolling. Well, everybody wanted to go with me, right? So we all go rolling in, and it's kind of like 45 seconds later, the entire booth has been painted. The walls have been redone.
Yeah.
Because you walk in with like 3 or 4 people that are used to working together, And it's no mom and pop, go do this, go do that. Everybody walked in and went, bam. And then we're like gone in 3 minutes.
And they're like, oh.
And they're all kind of like, what happened? And, the next day we go rolling back in with all the fixtures. And again, it's me and the same couple of people. So, we roll in, fixtures go in, we look at that layout, change it. We don't like that layout. Boom, final layout. We're done. 3 minutes, we're back out the door. So the efficiency of a good crew that just knows what to do.
Okay, so this wasn't the Doubting Thomas's crew.
No, this had my erstwhile right arm angel was in charge of this, and you just do what she says, and you'll be okay. You won't get hurt.
Yeah, don't argue.
Don't argue. Just lay it out, get it done. Boom. And then the final one was a lot of quarter round.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun to me at all.
Well,
how'd your knees feel at the end of that?
Well, again, you got a little help. There's a lot of my thighs. I've been thigh mastered.
Yeah,
all week. But once you get the groove of how to cut the angles, and I got everybody finally convinced it's upside down and backwards. So whatever it is you think it is, it's going to be upside down and backwards. And they all kind of everybody kind of got the Oompa Loompa thing going. And they would just go mark it. They'd measure it. Then they draw the line, which direction they want the cut. So when they got back to the chop saw, because now you've turned it a different direction. You're not facing the wall anymore. And the cuts, your brain is telling you it needs to go this way. Yeah. But you're looking where you drew the line, and it's going the other way.
Yeah.
Trust the line. Do the cut. And there was a lot of we're doing quarter rounds, and there's a lot of smiling going on as we're rope blew through the last rooms yesterday. Everybody's just kind of grinning, moving. So my week of horror was one of just rampant success, people working good together.
Organization.
Just, and doing things in the past that made it so much easier to get it done now.
I always look at it as doing yourself a future favor. Like you come back and you go, I forgot that I had done that. And it's like,
leave yourself a trail of breadcrumbs sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things, if you know you're going to have to come back and revisit this, plan on it. Don't leave yourself that trip hazard.
Oh, one other thing. You were talking about quarter round. I will just say, talk about doing yourself a future favor. I'm a big fan of pre-painting the quarter round. You paint it. And then that way, when you put the nail in, all you got to do is fill in the hole and caulk it and do that. Because cutting, then you don't have to tape that edge on the floor or any of that.
Oh, that was part of why everybody was smiling. Because when we were done, there were no little brown spots here and there and no little weird. It's like 30 seconds worth of run around with caulk. And then Sunday, we'll go back and touch up with the paintbrush.
All right. Well, good. Well, I hope the success continues, sir. And I hope my week goes more like yours next week. But we'll find out. So, but folks, hour one of Tool Talk Radio is in the can. But this is good. We're going to be visiting, like I said, with our buddy Kurt Weir from Groundworks. So if you've got foundation questions, this is the time to get in touch.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices at allanspices.com. Oh, it's, by the way, it's ALLANS. You never know. You can spell it with the... and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And let's just get down to it. In the house is our friend Kurt Weir from Groundworks. And Kurt, it's a long overdue visit, but it's good to have you in the house, man.
I appreciate it. It's nice to be back.
Before we get down to talking about foundations and the health and safety of your foundation in your home, by the way, if you do want to get in touch, if you've got questions about that, use the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline. You can call or text us at 901-683-0989. But, Kurt, you guys got to brag about some stuff, don't you?
We sure do. It's pretty exciting. We won this award just a week or two ago, and I was kind of surprised, with Groundworks being reasonably new to the area, but being the largest foundation company in the country, we just come right out of the gate swinging. and won the 2025 Community Choice Award. We were the winner in the foundation group. So
really,
that is awesome.
Yeah, that just kind of tells you how much we've put into the community, how much effort we've put into doing things right, and just caring about our customers.
It shows, man, and the thing is, you all came into town fully equipped. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, Allan, you've seen the setup over there, right?
Oh yeah, this is where I got. This is where I got to dive in, and I go, all right. So I'm visiting the facility, right, and it's the grand opening ceremonies, and I'll just be kind of tackily honest. I really expected a usual startup. I figured there'd be a warehouse, a couple of trucks, and an average number of people. And of course, I get there, and they've got like an airplane hangar size warehouse back there. They can load in and out like 6 trucks at a time.
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, I was like, somebody's walking around with me, giving me all the stats of what all they opened with, and I'm like, you guys didn't open, you guys landed.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
sounds
it
like
was
Normandy.
Oh my gosh, y'all were not waiting on a ramp up. Y'all came rolling up in here like you own the place.
Yeah,
and now we do. I'm pretty excited about that.
It is, it was so impressive because it told me that there was no job too small or too large that you did not come ready to do.
Right.
You were not gonna, somebody's gonna call and say, I got a leak in my basement. You're gonna have somebody goes, I got that.
Yeah.
And if you were a major company that said, I have this humongous problem, your sales rep wasn't gonna look at you and say, well, we'll have to bring a crew in from Pittsburgh for that. They were gonna say, no, we're ready to go.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff that's just residential, from very small projects, and we don't back away from the many commercial projects that we've been a part of too. It's kind of cool. And did you get to meet Matt Malone, the owner of Groundworks?
I did. We actually wound up face to face with each other, and he's going like, do I know you? And I'm like, well, this is what I do for you. And he goes, oh, and got all excited.
Yeah.
So, he was a great guy to meet. Very, very personable.
Yeah.
And then I met a number of other people from the other offices.
Right.
And absolutely everybody was excited, warm, personable. It wasn't like going to a corporate meeting.
Yeah.
Everybody was excited to see you and ready to make things happen, because the other thing that I found out was, and we're gonna have to take a picture of Kurt's T-shirt.
I was just gonna make a comment about his shirt
because I want Kurt, explain your T-shirt to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, one of the cool things that made me jump over to Groundworks was extreme ownership. I mean, extreme ownership's a book also, but that means it doesn't matter what is thrown your way, you take ownership of that. But with Groundworks, after 6 months, you are a part owner of the company. And that is,
'cause it says owner on your T-shirt.
It says owner on my T-shirt, and I wore that for a reason today. It is truth. You are a part owner of this company, and any future benefits, profits, revenues, things that come through, it will be shared. And that Matt Malone, when he talked to us at the grand opening, he said, Wall Street told me I'm crazy doing this. He said, I'm proving them wrong. So that when I heard him talk about that in detail and how he was kind of going against the tide there, that even made it even better to be part owner of something that is, I can't even describe how fast we're growing. We have, I think, 85 branches, and that's probably an old number now at this point, and that's in the last 10 years plus. And over the next 3 to 5 years, they want to more than double the company.
Wow.
So think about that. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to have 150 to 200 branches across the country. That is stepping right there.
I don't know, man. I guess Wall Street probably has their mathematical calculations on why it doesn't work. But Allan, making your employees part owners makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I've been self-employed my whole life, and nobody cares more about the company than the owners of the company.
Right.
So I
Vested
mean, now
interest.
that you have a vested interest, exactly. So I think it's great, man.
Yeah, I do too. I'm part of it. Why would I not think that's great, right?
You know what else though, Kurt? For from the customer point of view, what this tells me is like, okay, because your foundation, this is not a job for Chuck and his truck. I mean, and you need a company that is there for the long term. So if there are any issues down the road, and so what that tells me as a customer is like, okay, I'm in good hands here.
Right, and I see that all the time, that people have done minor repairs. Like, we all have our specialties, and even if you're a handyman and you have a lot of lesser specialties, I don't know if that's the way to put it. You can't be an expert in everything, but foundation work is something that is very specific, very special, and it needs to be done right because, I mean, it's your biggest asset. You want to protect your biggest asset, and even like ourselves. I crawled back under a house yesterday of a house that we had done some work with. I was not happy with what I saw. I probably shouldn't say that on the air, but you know what? I'm going to make sure our guys go back out there and make it right. It's just something that was a little off, and not everybody's going to do that. They're going to take your money and they're going to run. That is not how we do work. We want to make sure it's done right. And, a couple things that I saw that were just a little off. And I've already talked to the general manager, and I will be talking to the production manager about it on Monday. I've got pictures. I've talked to the customer. Because of my return visit, she wants to buy more from me also.
Oh,
That's how you do it.
That's good business, man. Yeah, and I think that just shows the care. I like the hands-on approach of that. I like the fact that you are an owner. What is your actual title, Kurt?
I'm a CFI, Certified Field Inspector.
Okay, so you're the one out there making. I always picture this in terms of if this was the Army, would you be a sergeant or would you be the lieutenant or?
He's the guy crawling under the barbed wire.
I feel like
I'm the guy peeling the potatoes. That's what it is.
but no, keeping everybody in check, making sure everything's and quality control. It sounds like to me. Man.
Yeah, for my customers, I usually when I sell something to people, I put that customer's name in my phone. So if they call me 2 years from now, I can answer the phone and say, hey, Janie, hey, Mr. Smith, or whatever, and that way I think that gives a little personal touch, and that's just the way I do my business, my personal business.
That's very cool, man. So, we should probably talk about it, too. I guess there's no one. I was going to ask you, like, what are you getting calls about the most these days? But it sounds like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's still everything. The last month or so, we've been a little more concentrating on talking about trip hazards with your concrete and stuff like that, because this time of year we have a lot of people, everybody has people visit their house, and if grandma comes over on a walker and she trips on that little thing on your sidewalk walking into your house and you guys are at the hospital instead of around the Thanksgiving table, then everybody's on, I'm still going to be there eating while everybody else is at the hospital, but it's those kinds of things.
I like that he says grandmother because I'm tripping constantly over stuff.
Well, I'm a grandfather, so.
We all know what we're talking about, but I would want to harp on that for just a moment. Of, we don't really worry about it in the spring and in the summer because it's life is beautiful, the temps are great. We just got 2 inches of rain yesterday. It's now foggy beyond belief out there today, and it's going to rain again on Monday, and now you got
love it
wet leaves, the grass is gone, a trip hazard gets progressively worse all year. And as the other thing, because once those concretes are uneven, and Joe, you and I've said this now for a decade, dirt moves.
Everything moves, yeah.
Dirt moves.
Sure
it is not going to get any better.
Right.
Please, 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 if you've got a minor trip hazard, cracked area, or just that spot that's just awkward.
And it seems like that's probably one of the easiest fixes y'all do, too.
It actually is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's on sidewalks or driveways.
Okay, cool. Hey, and by the way, you can get in touch with Groundworks at 901-459-2290 or go to groundworks.com and book your free inspection today. So, well, Kurt, we've got more questions and we've got more things to discuss about the foundation of the home when we come back here on Tool Talk Radio.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
911, this better be good.
I cut off my husband's thumb.
Attempted murder? You'll burn for this. What's your address so I can come arrest you?
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Why are all the stingers, or why are all the rejoinders about injuries and pain, Max?
Because of you.
Yeah, I'm feeling
your
like there's
pain and injury.
Yeah. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. We're with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com. And our pal Max over there behind the glass. And in the house, our friend Kurt Weir from Groundworks. He field inspector, which and quality control, I'm going to say.
That's right.
And Groundworks is the recent winner of the Community Choice Awards. And we probably should mention who awards this, Allan? Like, who gives out this award? So.
Well, this is a time-honored tradition in the Mid-South. It is underwritten and controlled by the Commercial Appeal. So it is a public voting thing. And if you want to kind of get into it, you can go to yourchoiceawards.com.
Okay.
And they have a nomination round back in June. Then they have a voting round in August. And they announce the winners in November.
So this isn't like the Academy Awards where a bunch of elitists that live in their ivory towers vote on each other. We're talking the public vote.
The public votes on this, puts you in. So if you win, it's because people love you.
There you go. Well, congratulations, Kurt. And Kurt is a part owner of the company because once you work there for what, 6 months?
6 months, you become a part owner. We got a certificate too. I was going to bring that with me and I forgot. It's a plank ownership. If you guys ever heard of plank stuff from the Navy stuff, like the old wooden ships, like when they decommissioned a ship and they take it apart, you could get a plank of that ship to keep. And we became a plank owner. They gave us a little coin. The coin has a mock-up of probably the most famous thing in this town, Elvis, and it's like a nose-up kind of an animation thing on the coin. It's really cool that they have gone over and above for the employees, which is extremely rare nowadays, that they make us a plank. They give us this plank ownership certificate. They gave us a coin, and we are part owners of the company. And I tell you what, I don't think I've ever been prouder to work for a company.
It's
honestly.
funny you say that. Now that I'm thinking of it, Allan, I mean, I've been a contractor 30, 35 years. Same with you. I don't know that I've seen a company that does that. Now that I'm thinking of it, I don't know that anybody does that. So that is unique, man.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So, okay. Well, hey, Kurt, I don't know if you're aware, but today is National Aura Awareness Day.
I was aware of it.
Yeah.
My aura let me know.
Now, if your foundation is, and your aura is looking pretty good, man. You look like things are going well. Allan's aura is great. He's launched his spice company. But I have to imagine that the aura of your home is disrupted when you have foundation problems, don't you think? How's that for a transition, Allan?
That was pretty good. That's a good lead in. I guess I need to just step right into that, don't I? No, that's
true,
something.
Man.
It really is true. I mean, I have dealt with so many people that they're really just scared, worried, concerned, all of the above about their house. Because, I mean, like I said, it's your biggest asset. You've spent whatever amount of money on a house, and you're something's going wrong with it. You got cracks showing up inside. You got cracks on the outside. All of these, all these funky smells coming from underneath, whatever. And if you don't know, it scares you to death. And I've had a lot of customers that way. It's the same thing if you go to the doctor and you got something wrong. You're scared to death until that doctor tells you, here's how we fix it. It's pretty easy. Let's fix it this way.
Right.
But if you get something like poison ivy or poison oak, that's kind of your own fault. But anyway.
Yeah, I can't blame it. Yeah. Well, I bet you there's foundation problems that are people. I mean, I hate to say it, the homeowner made a mistake. They did something.
You mentioned the tree. I've seen a lot of houses like that. I had one customer in Memphis that I went to their house, and then I went back about 6 months later. Well, that 6 month period, out back they had this tree that was bigger than these desks. I mean, this tree was huge, and the deck was built around it. When I came back, the tree was gone. It was, just a stub sticking up, and then still there, stub. It was a stump, and I mean a stump. And I said, what happened? They said, well, the tree started falling on the neighbors' houses and everything else. And it cost them $12,000 to cut the tree down. It tells you how big that tree was.
Yeah.
It was huge.
That's kind of the going rate these days. I hate to say it. It can be a lot more if it's closer to the house.
There's dropping a tree in the woods.
Yeah.
Where, if it goes wrong, hopefully nobody gets hurt, but, nobody cares.
Right.
Dropping a tree in a backyard.
Yeah.
That is almost an art form.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My advice there is always make sure they are licensed and insured. Because you get, just some dude off the street. Oh, I can do that. Then all of a sudden, your homeowner insurance has got to take over because they dropped it on your house.
Or if they hurt themselves, you're on the hook. So,
you don't want cousin Bubba out there with the chainsaw saying, "I got this." You need a good arborist.
What I like about what Groundworks does, though, Kurt, is this is a pretty comprehensive inspection, right? I mean, and it's free. To me, that's the thing. It's like it makes perfect sense. I would even say if you have mild concerns about your foundation, get in there. It's just like the doctor,
I think education from our perspective is probably the best thing because a lot of houses have cracks and I've heard people say it a million times. Well, that's just normal settling. Well, a house is not supposed to settle. It's common settling. It's very common that it happens. And, we use lasers and things like that because the lasers, I can walk up to a house. I've been doing this 10 years. I can walk up and I'll, kind of diagnose it myself just by my eyes and my experience. But the lasers help us prove that to ourselves and the customers. Hey, look, this corner of your house has dropped half an inch. And if it's only half an inch, doesn't sound like much. But if you've got a foundation and that thing drops a half an inch on one end, then that's why you got a stair-step crack through your bricks and things like that. And then, it helps you kind of build that up to help customers understand.
Right.
Speaking of customers, we actually have a text on the text line inquiring about something.
Okay.
It says from Agent 732, I have a slab house where the drainage between houses flows down one side. I am noticing some erosion that is getting near the bottom of the slab. What should we do?
Okay.
That's a precursor for foundation failure is what that is. Is that anytime there's erosion that could drop, that's you eat away at the dirt. And the dirt moves anyway, but you eat away at it, then you got the lack of support, and that's when you're going to have a drop. So that's probably not a foundation company. And we can look at it to see if there's any issues, but probably like a landscaping company or somebody like that can get that. You got to take care of that drainage. You got to make sure water's my best friend. You just said it's rained a bunch here lately. Mm-hmm. It makes our phone ring. It really does.
I bet it does.
I like it when it rains. Keeps us busy. It's one of those things.
What would you do? Gravel, sand? What are you thinking, Allan? Something's not gonna because you got to stop the erosion. So.
Well, all right. In the Mid-South, normally the first thing I look at is the mulch. That is just the number one thing. If it's gardens, if it's beds and stuff, generally they have a tendency to just pile it up and it pushes water towards the building instead of draining it away from it. I did check one. Kurt, I did have a giggle at. I thought of you about 3 weeks ago. Went out to check a property, and they were talking about they just had a company come out and put gutters on the house. But for some reason, they just ended the gutters like right there at the house, and it's kind of flat, and it was pooling and all this stuff. And so they had gone down to the big box store and bought them an 8-foot piece of gutter and had stuck it under the spout. So now they were shooting the water 8 feet further out. And I was all right, that's a great start, but that's not how you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got them a little French drain and got it in and got it graveled in. So the trick is how is the water moving and where does the water want to go?
Right.
Water's going to go where water wants to go. And water is always going to go what is the least resistance to it.
Yeah.
So if it's like a zero lot line where you got a little tiny walkway between the two, sometimes it is best to, pea gravel or sand that in and use like a paving sand that locks.
Yeah, and I would say try to be a good neighbor and team up with your neighbor. Don't just shove it so now it's eroding their foundation.
Well, yeah, you need to have a little chat, and because a lot of times there's supposed to be a channel there or there was a channel there 25 years ago.
Right.
But now leaves and grass and the soil's built up, and it may need to be rechanneled.
And honestly, some of the things like just rake your yard, keep the or something, or at least keep the leaves mulched up. And
I've seen a lot of gutters with no elbows on the bottom. I mean, at minimum, just straight down, pouring on
pouring straight down. I'm like, that is so bad.
Yeah, water.
Yeah.
Now, I will admit, there's a couple of big box stores that carry a long separator. Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
Gets it away from the house.
Get it away from the foundation.
All right. Well, that sounds good, Agent 732. I hope that was sort of helpful. But we're going to continue visiting with our buddy Kurt Weir with Groundworks. So please get in touch if you've got any concerns about the foundation of your home.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
We have radon coming from below. We have asbestos in the ceilings. These are silent killers.
You are the silent killer.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
More darkness from Max. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com. Our pal Max over there behind the glass. And in the house, our buddy Kurt Weir from Groundworks, who has just been they are the recipient of the Community's Choice Award. And that's a public vote. This is the public speaking. And so congratulations, you guys. Groundworks, you hit the ground running. I mean, you've only been here about 2 years now, or?
Actually, less time than that. Actually,
Isn't that
I believe it was February, early February of this year when we started in Memphis. Been in business over 10 years, across the country, but kind of new here.
Pretty cool, man. That says something about what's going on over at Groundworks. So, and also you should know today is National Aura Awareness Day. It's also National Cranberry Relish Day. It's also Madge Mickelson's birthday. He's cool. He's a cool actor. You've seen him.
He's a strange actor.
You've seen him in Doctor Strange. You've seen him but he's one of these guys. He doesn't care about celebrity. He just wants to make interesting art. He's a really cool guy, and apparently he's very nice with the fans too.
Well, that's
and he's
good.
nice to work with. So, but I digress. But actually, no, it's not that much of a digression. Kurt, you were telling us that some of your off the air, one of your buddies is in the. Well, he helped do some casting for.
Yeah, he worked on he was assistant casting director for Castaway for the Memphis part of that movie and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's about as close to famous as I am right there.
Well, we'll stick around here. Somebody's bound to walk in the studio that
his name's in the credits. It's kind of cool to see.
That is cool.
Some of in the credits.
I got a question for you though, Kurt, because we're talking about the foundation of your home, and these days, the older I get, my wife and I talk. We're really talking more about preventative medicine these days, and when we talk about the foundation of your home, we're talking about really. It has to be functioning. It has to be healthy. You don't want problems with your foundation. So what are some good tips, I would say, so people can avoid that catastrophic call or something? What are some of the rookie mistakes you see homeowners making? And things?
One of the biggest things is what we were talking about off air is water near the foundation. Anytime you got gutters dumping right at the foundation, that's not a good idea. You need to get that water away from it. Water creates a lot of work for us, so I like it when it rains. But one of the things that I think most people overlook, because I joke about this with my customers, as I'm getting ready to go under their house in a crawl space. I tell them, I said, I did not get my college degree to climb under your house, but here I go. Yeah. And there's so much that could go wrong under a house. Moisture under a house is absolutely damaging to, especially a house that's been built since, I don't know, maybe 1965, 70, any house built since then, because wood's grown so fast and cut so fast now. The older houses like Midtown Memphis and stuff like that, those older houses, that wood is tight and it really holds up well to moisture and termites and things like that. Now, it still happens there too, but the older the house, the little more rigid it is, I guess. Right. And but moisture on a newer house, and I say new, that's now 60 years old. The moisture can attack that wood so much. So under a house, if you ever smell any kind of musty smell, like you're out of the house for a couple of days and you walk in, you kind of get that weird musty smell. And it's most people don't realize, I didn't realize till I got into this industry, that half the air you breathe in your house could come from underneath your house in a crawl space. So if you've got a funky, moldy, damp crawl space and you have asthma, allergies, all these things, you're breathing that stuff from under your house. So you could take care of that. You could encapsulate that crawl space, put a dehumidifier down there. You can have cleaner air to breathe. Your heat and air unit's going to work less. There's a lot of benefits to that. And that's one of the, I'm not going to say simple things, but that's one of the more common things that someone could do to take care of their house. And when you go to sell that house, if you ever want to sell it, and a potential buyer opens that crawl space door, looks in there and sees that clean, white, just yucky, fresh, I guess a good word, in there, they're going to go, wow, that's pretty nice, because most people don't want nothing to do with their crawl space. Most people.
I don't want to go in there. Well, I don't have one, luckily, but crawl spaces creep me out anyway. I mean, claustrophobia and everything. But
well, that's claustrophobia is a real. That's not a job for you.
Yeah. Well, I can give you a little crawl space horror story just to spice things up a little bit of dealing with a house of kind of a little bit out in the country, older house, but about every 6 weeks it got the invasion of baby crickets.
Yep.
And I don't mean like a cricket or two. I mean, like sweeping crickets out the door kind of thing.
Do they chirp in harmony?
Well, the little ones don't, but my gosh, because and it was just the weirdest thing because, by the time the pest control people came out, all right, they got rid of everybody in the house, and but that's 6 weeks later, here we go again, and this was a repetitive thing for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, well, crickets come out of the dirt. They lay eggs in the dirt. You know, you got to be kind of when you live out in West Texas, you learn a lot about grasshoppers and crickets and stuff. And because you got sandy soil and they lay eggs in sandy soil. And turned out there was a pinhole leak behind the shower wall.
Yeah.
That was dripping down into the soil underneath the ground, and was activating the cricket eggs.
You had like a cricket incubator down
They had a
there.
little cricket factory going on under the house, and there was just a couple of drops of water, a drop an hour was more than enough that about every 6 weeks, the crickets that were depositing eggs under the house were, had a nice little hatchery going down there. And I mean, this is something they lived through. And of course, in this area, we're not worried so much about the crickets, but I'm sitting there going, that's got to be termites.
Any kind of bug,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Most people are terrified of bugs or snakes. And I'm telling you, we have seen just about everything under a house, and I personally, thank God, I've only literally encountered 2 live things. There was a mouse, and I put my hand on a sleeping possum one time. He was under the plastic. And when I did, he went to one corner, and I said, you go that way, I'm going this way. And
possums don't really want to bother you.
No, and I, just the other day, I opened the crawl space door, and I opened it up, and there was a huge snake skin right there. And I pulled it out, and it was at least 6 feet. And it's that's the thing. A lot of people, that's one reason. I mean, all these reasons, people don't want to go in their crawl space. I mean, it's not just Indiana Jones that's scared of snakes. I ain't a big fan either. So I'm always, which I'm grunting and groaning and huffing and puffing quite a bit when I'm under a house. So they're going to run from me anyway, hopefully. But it's things like that people just, that if you get your crawl space encapsulated and you seal it up, cleaner air and all these things, and plus you're a lot less likely to have bugs and snakes and stuff under your house.
Well, it's interesting, Kurt, because until I talked to you guys over at Groundworks, I always equated, okay, well, if you've got moisture and whatever, maybe you need to do something to move the air down there. Because I'm equating it with the way we approach a roof. The roof, you need your roof to breathe. That's why we have ridge caps and stuff. Right. But it's a whole different ball game up there in the sun than it is down below. And what you taught us was it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, I've had to answer that question a million times from customers about vents. Because like termite companies, and they will sell vents to move. Or I'm sorry, not vents and fans to move the air. Well, what kind of from April or May through October? What kind of air do we have in the Mid-South? Hot, damp. I mean, air that you can feel and see. And you're moving that stuff. You're just pushing more hot, damp air into there. Are you moving it? Yes. But is it really going anywhere? Not really, because you're just replacing. You're just placing one hot, damp
You're just
mess.
pumping humidity under the house.
Right.
Is
so,
what you're doing.
So, and like that, and it's unfortunate sometimes when I show up at a house where they've spent money, quite a bit of money on fans and stuff like that, and then I'm like, we need to seal that up. They're like, what? I don't. I really, it bums me out to tell somebody. I don't say that to them, but you kind of wasted your money, kind of deal.
Right. Well, you got to get them thinking right. I mean, it's not gonna solve itself. So
it's an education process. I mean, that's what we do as certified field inspectors. Is we spend a lot of time educating, and if you just educate them and then give them the option, let them make the choice.
Now, if you encapsulate it and you've got a dehumidifier and things. Sounds to me like essentially you're still moving you're conditioning the air. Is that right?
That's exactly what you're doing. You're conditioning the air.
Okay, there you go.
Well,
that's a big difference between just moving it, though. Yeah.
Well, and it's also a big thing in the getting rid of the critters. I'm also going to point out it also gets rid of your pet because a number of people and Joe, we had a story about the lady with the cat in the wall a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, last week.
And I don't want to sound totally like the Scrooge when it comes to homeowners and their pets.
Yeah.
But do not let the dog or cat live or play in your crawl space.
Hey, that's a pretty good segue.
They're doing
there, Allan.
terrible things.
Well, because I think when we come back, I wanted to run this by Kurt. We talked about
okay, well, I know a lady, he likes to dig. And I'm like, you really don't want him digging under your house where the supports for your house are. And goodness.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Hey, once again, let me give this out for you, Kurt. If you want to get in touch with Groundworks, you can call them at 901-459-2290 or go to groundworks.com and book your free inspection today. We're going to continue visiting with Kurt, and we have a tale of critters gone wrong in the crawl space.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Was that toilet always next to the refrigerator?
Ned, you ever try lugging the toilet up a flight of stairs?
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I just realized that he doesn't mention any drainage or plumbing on that toilet.
No.
I don't want to pursue that any further.
Yeah.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. Gosh, that was loud. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Allan Spices over at allanspices.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And in the house, our friend Kurt Weir from Groundworks, who once again, we just want to mention, in less than 2 years of being here in the Mid-South, they've already won the Community's Choice Award it was a public vote, and it was brought for foundation companies, right? That's what it is. So. Pretty cool, man. Congratulations. And Kurt is he's a field inspector, but also part owner of the company, which is very cool. If you work there for 6 months, you become part owner. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. I think most companies should do that, but within reason. But nobody cares more than an owner. So, well, Kurt, I wanted to run something by you because my wife brought me a tale of it's a tale of woe from her friend, and it's directly related to a crawl space. So she's over in Midtown. She's in that part of town where I want to say those little bungalow things. They're probably getting close to 100 years old. Really cool, charming house, but it has one of these where she has a basement and a crawl space.
Right.
Well, she's a very conscientious homeowner. She had the crawl space encapsulated, but I guess she didn't encapsulate it all the way because there was some gap near the pipe. And apparently it was enough of a gap where her two cats could go in there and hang out. And I thought cats were neat and tidy animals, Allan, but let's just say when she made the discovery, she had to call a remediation company. We're talking $2,300 of cleanup. Yeah. And you can imagine what they were cleaning up.
Yeah, cat
Do you deal with stuff like that? I mean,
well, I mean, it's funny if you encapsulate a crawl space properly, the likelihood of anything getting in from the outside is very, very slim. Because we use on the walls, we use a 20 mil 7-layer plastic. It's going to outlive all of us. By a long shot. And then on the crawl space floor, we use 120 mil thick padding, basically.
Yeah.
And it is sealed up pretty darn tight. New crawl space doors and things like that. So the likelihood of something getting in from the outside, and I honestly, one of the worst smells in the world to me is cat pee.
Yeah.
It just is. And I will tell you, something's going to make you laugh even more. My wife drives an Expedition Max. It's a beautiful vehicle. We really like it. But all of a sudden, we've got some weird, when it rains, it smells like cat pee in that car. And I'm telling you, if somebody stole it or burned it, I wouldn't be unhappy. Because and we've changed the cabin filter. We've done everything. It's not cool.
Have you checked your floor mats?
They're plastic floor mats.
Well, anyway. We had an issue with my wife's cat that never mind. I don't know if we want to get into that, but sometimes cats mark their territory.
We didn't chase a rabbit, we chased a cat right there. So
okay.
Yeah.
But it was encapsulated, but there was a gap. I guess there was some this didn't have to do apparently the plastic held up great.
Yeah.
It was the gap around some pipe. It was some whatever that. And I don't know how long ago she had this done, probably 5 or 6 years ago. So it sounds like the company that encapsulated it didn't fully encapsulate.
Yeah, you got to think about if you've ever been under a house at all, there's so many different uneven surfaces and things like that. There's a lot of different, you got sewage going out, you got pipes coming in, you got air conditioning units, you got all these different things. You have to be very diligent to make sure you get all those holes either foamed up before you put the plastic up or whatever. There's just, like mice, they say mice if they can stick their head through a spot, they can get in. So cats, not a whole lot,
Yeah.
They can do the same thing, maybe not that small of a spot, but
if the head fits, the rest of the critter comes through.
Now, that doesn't work for me in a crawl space, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I need a little more room for a crawl space door. I actually kind of injured myself. I think I cracked a rib a couple weeks ago crawling under a house. Yeah, that was
great.
That was fun times. So anyway.
I had another question about the crawl space. It had to do with basement. Okay, we had some homes, like when I grew up in Chicago, we had a basement, and every basement had a sub pump in there.
Right.
Which basically, if you don't know what it is, because not everybody here has one, imagine there's usually it had a metal plate over the top, but if you pulled that plate away, you saw water. Yeah. You saw a hole with water, and it was at varying levels and stuff.
Right.
And how much does sub pump failure or the sub pump health of a home does that play any role with what you guys do? Or
it does. A lot of times when those now it's rare that we go in and just replace the sump pump, but we could do that most of the time. And then I said Midtown earlier, but anywhere inside the loop, basically, of Memphis, you have a lot of basement and crawl space combos. Mm-hmm. And you're right. The sump pump was put in there many years ago to alleviate any water under the foundation, under the basement area too. And then over time, things change, more rain and the ground moving and all these different things. But the best way to do all that would be to encapsulate the crawl space. And we would take that and run that down into the into the basement too, covering the walls, making sure everything's covered. That way, any source of water is drained into our basement gutter system, or eventually getting down to the sump pump. So sump pumps are very critical anytime there's water present.
Hold on. I've never heard of a basement gutter system.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have a basement. I haven't had a basement in 40 years. So what is a gutter basement?
Basically, for me trying to describe this on the radio, right, is an interior French drain, if you would. It is a gutter.
Oh, I think
it's
a
gutter. It is a pipe system that we basically will jackhammer out the basement floor about 6-8 inches or so down to the footing, and put a gutter on the footing, and then backfill it with stone and concrete, and then run that gutter system to a sump pump. So basically, it's an interior drain that captures water, whether it comes under the footing, comes under the floor, however water gets in there. And then also why we cover the walls on a basement too, is we cover the walls because sometimes when the hydrostatic pressure on the outside of a basement wall, when that pushes it through that wall, if you have a gutter system, it actually can kind of, for the lack of a better word, pee out away from that wall and go bypass the gutter system. So we cover the walls with an inorganic plastic, and when that water then hits the wall, it runs down into the gutter system. That way we can guarantee no water on that floor again.
That's a cool system because, yeah, I mean, as we've said, Alan, concrete is this poor. It's kind of like a hard sponge. I mean, water, humidity and moisture will get through it.
Well, yes, my house has a gutter system and sump pump.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I have an over and under.
Yeah,
I have an over and under.
split
Actually,
level.
the lower level of the house is about 6 feet under ground level.
Okay.
So it is a functional living space.
Like a garden level type house.
Yeah, but it does have the basement gutter and the sump pump. And so long as that's in good working order and it's nice and clean, great. I remember on a property several years ago, we actually had to uncover all of that because whoever had put it in originally, it allowed it to get silted in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we had to go through and clean and
see, that's the benefit of putting it on the footing. When we put it on the footing, we're away from the dirt, so that thing's going to stay pretty clean.
Well, Kurt, there's any number of foundation problems from root, from a slab to a crawl space to a basement. And before we get out of here, I want to let you tell everybody how to get in touch with Groundworks, man.
Well, like you mentioned, the numbers and the website's the best way to do it here. It's amazing. We service pretty much anywhere within a pretty good radius of Memphis. But the number to call is 901-459-2290. We're on State Line Road, which is technically in South Haven, which we still call this Memphis. We're right on the State Line Road there. Or you can go to groundworks.com and set an appointment there, and we'd love to see you, and we'll take care of you.
Awesome. Well, Kurt, it's always good having you in the house, my friend, and congratulations to Groundworks. They're out there getting it done. But we got it done today, Alan, and I didn't have any dizziness or fainting or anything with my medication. But so you've been listening to another action-packed episode of Tool Talk Radio. So on behalf of my buddy Allan Gilbreth with Allan Spices and our pal Max over there behind the glass and Kurt Weir with Groundworks, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.